Most people think living off dividends means hitting some magic portfolio number. It doesn't. It means crossing three specific structural milestones in order. Miss one, and you're still financially dependent on a paycheck no matter how much you've saved. I'm going to walk you through all three right now, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand and what to build toward next. Let's get into it. If you're serious about building dividend income, subscribe and hit the bell. I drop new strategies every week. The first milestone is called the coverage threshold, and it's the moment your dividend income covers 25% of your essential monthly expenses. Not half, not full replacement, just 1/4. That might sound small, but here's why it's massive. You've broken total dependency on your paycheck. You still need your job, but you no longer need every single dollar it pays just to stay afloat. That margin changes everything. You start negotiating differently. You turn down work you resent. You stop tolerating conditions you used to have no choice but to accept. That's not a soft psychological win. That's real financial leverage. Here's the math. If your essential monthly expenses are $4,000, housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, you need $1,000 per month in dividends to hit this threshold. That's $12,000 a year. At a 4% portfolio yield, you need $300,000 in income-producing assets. At 3%, you need $400,000. At 2.5%, closer to $480,000. That gap matters. 1 percentage point difference in blended yield changes your required capital by $80,000 to $100,000. That's years of contributions, not a rounding error. This is why portfolio construction matters just as much as portfolio size. A growth-heavy index fund portfolio at 1.5% yield requires nearly twice the assets to hit the same income threshold as a deliberately built dividend portfolio at 3%. You cannot accumulate your way to income coverage if your portfolio isn't built to produce income. Practically speaking, when you hit this milestone, a job loss stops being a catastrophe. It becomes a serious inconvenience. Your dividends cover a quarter of expenses. Your emergency fund covers the rest for months. You have runway most people don't have. That's the earliest version of what financial freedom actually feels like. Not freedom from work, freedom from desperation. So, what does a coverage threshold portfolio actually look like? At this stage, you're not fully committed to income yet. You're blending growth with dividend production. A realistic allocation might be 50% in a broad market ETF like VTI or SCHD for total return, 30% in a dividend growth ETF like SCHD, which currently yields around 3.5% with a strong track record of annual increases, and 20% in individual dividend payers like Johnson & Johnson, Realty Income, or PepsiCo, companies with decades of consistent payouts. That blend at a $300,000 to $400,000 portfolio size gets you to the $1,000 monthly dividend target without abandoning the growth engine that keeps compounding your total asset base. You're not fully pivoting to income yet. You're building the foundation while the portfolio is still growing aggressively. The second milestone is the crossover point, where your monthly dividend income equals your total essential monthly expenses. Every dollar your household needs to function comes from the portfolio, not $1 from your paycheck required. At this point, your job becomes optional for financial survival. Most people who hit this still keep working, and that's completely valid. What changes is the word optional. When work is chosen instead of required, every professional decision you make comes from a completely different posture. Here's the math for your specific number. And I want to emphasize your number, not a generic example. Take your actual essential monthly expenses. Multiply by 12. That's your annual income target. Divide by your portfolio's blended yield. That's the portfolio size you need. If your expenses are $3,000 a month, that's $36,000 annually. At 4% yield, you need $900,000. At 3.5%, just over $1 million. At 3%, $1,200,000. The mistake most people make here is confusing total portfolio value with income-producing capacity. A $900,000 portfolio of low-yield growth assets might pay $14,000 in annual dividends. The same $900,000 in a dividend-focused allocation could pay $32,000 to $38,000. Same net worth. Completely different timeline to the crossover point. And here's the structural advantage dividend income has over a withdrawal strategy. When the market drops, a withdrawal strategy forces you to sell shares at reduced prices to cover living expenses. That permanently depletes your asset base. Dividend income during the same downturn? The income continues. The portfolio recovers intact. That difference is foundational. If this is clicking for you, drop a comment telling me which milestone you're currently working toward. At the crossover point, your portfolio allocation starts shifting more deliberately toward income production. A realistic structure here might look like 20% in a total market ETF for residual growth, 40% in SCHD or VIG, dividend growth ETFs with yields in the 3 to 4% range and strong histories of annual increases, and 40% split across individual high-quality dividend payers. At this stage, you want names with long payout histories, companies like Procter and Gamble, Aflac, or Agree Realty. You're also starting to consider covered call ETFs like JEPI or JEPQ for a portion of the income allocation. These can boost your blended yield into the 7 to 9% range, which meaningfully reduces the total capital required to hit your crossover number. The trade-off is that covered call strategies cap some upside. At the crossover point, that trade-off becomes increasingly acceptable because you're optimizing for income reliability over maximum appreciation. The third milestone is where most dividend investors stop building too early. And it's the one that determines whether the next 30 years feel comfortable or whether you spend your later years quietly cutting expenses, wondering where the plan went wrong. The durability milestone is where your dividend income doesn't just cover expenses today, it covers them 20 years from now, after inflation has been compounding against you the entire time. Here's a question most people never ask themselves. What does your lifestyle actually cost in 15 years if nothing about it changes? At 3% annual inflation, $3,000 a month becomes $4,669 a month in 15 years. That's a 55% increase with zero lifestyle upgrades, zero extravagance. Just time passing. If your dividends are static, you've been running backward the whole time, quietly, invisibly, until it's too late to restructure. This milestone requires dividend growth, not just dividend income. There's a structural difference between companies that pay dividends and companies that grow their dividends annually. A portfolio built around companies consistently raising dividends at 5 to 8% per year compounds its income without you adding another dollar. After 20 years of 6% annual dividend growth, a $40,000 income stream becomes $128,000. At 3% inflation over the same period, your purchasing power requirement grows to $72,000 annually. You've more than kept pace. You're comfortable? Same $40,000 in static dividend income after 20 years? It buys what $22,000 bought when you started. Nearly half your purchasing power, gone, with no bad decisions made. No crashes, no cuts. Just time and inflation doing what they always do. The difference isn't how much you accumulated, it's which assets you held. This changes how you evaluate every holding. Stop chasing the highest current yield. That's often a yield trap. A company yielding 9% with deteriorating fundamentals looks great until the dividend gets cut and your crossover point evaporates with it. A company yielding 3% with consistent 8% annual dividend growth is building a compounding income machine. Lower yield now, dramatically better income trajectory over time. Also watch payout ratios. A company paying out 90% of earnings has almost no room to grow that dividend when things get tough. A company at 45% payout can raise its dividend even when earnings temporarily soften. You're not speculating. You're stress testing your income stream before it has to perform under pressure. The durability milestone is crossed when your portfolio's blended dividend growth rate consistently beats your personal inflation rate by 2 to 3 percentage points. Sustained over years, that margin is what turns a good dividend portfolio into a structure that holds without constant recalibration. A durability portfolio looks different from both previous stages. Here, you're trimming or eliminating high-yield static payers and covered call ETFs as your primary income source and replacing them with dividend growth. Compounders. Think dividend aristocrats and dividend kings, companies that have raised their dividends for 25 or 50 consecutive years respectively. Names like Coca-Cola, Illinois Toolworks, Automatic Data Processing, and Nordson. These aren't exciting. They're not going viral on any finance forum, but they've raised their dividends through recessions, through inflation spikes, through rate cycles, and through global disruptions. That consistency is exactly what the durability milestone requires. A realistic durability portfolio might be 60% in individual dividend aristocrats and kings, 30% in SCHD or VIG for broad dividend growth exposure, and 10% in a REIT like realty income, or a utility like NextEra Energy for diversified income streams with their own inflation-linked growth mechanisms. The goal at this stage isn't the highest yield, it's the most reliable and consistently growing income stream you can build, one that outlasts you if necessary. Now here's your exact action plan based on where you are right now, with real numbers so you can see exactly what each stage looks like in practice. If you haven't hit the coverage threshold yet, here's what the target looks like. You're aiming for a $300,000 to $400,000 portfolio generating $12,000 annually in dividends. A $350,000 portfolio split 50% VTI, 30% SCHD, and 20% individual dividend payers produces roughly $350 per month from VTI at 1.33% yield, $306 per month from SCHD at 3.5% yield on $105,000, and approximately $175 per month from individual payers at 3% yield on $70,000. That's around $831 per month, close to the $1,000 target and closable through continued reinvestment within 12 to 18 months without adding a single new dollar. At this stage, stop optimizing for yield and keep compounding. The threshold comes to you faster than you think. If you're between the coverage threshold and the crossover point, your target is $900,000 to $1,200,000 producing $36,000 or more annually. A $900,000 portfolio at this stage, structured as 20% total market ETF, 40% SCHD and VIG, and 40% individual dividend payers, and a small covered call ETF allocation produces approximately $195 per month from the growth allocation, $1,050 per month from the dividend growth ETFs, at 3.5% blended yield on $360,000, and $1,500 per month from the individual payers and covered call sleeve at roughly 5% blended yield on $360,000. That's approximately $2,745 per month, $32,940 annually. Reinvesting every dollar of that closes the remaining gap to $3,000 monthly within 2 to 3 years, depending on market conditions. Recalculate your number every quarter. The gap is smaller than most people think once they start tracking it explicitly. If you've crossed the crossover point, you're managing for durability now. A $1,200,000 durability portfolio structured as 60% dividend aristocrats and kings, 30% SCHD or VIG, and 10% realty income or NextEra Energy produces approximately $2,400 per month from the aristocrats and kings sleeve at a 2.5% current yield on $720,000, $875 per month from the dividend growth ETF allocation at 3.5% yield on $300,000, and $360 per month from the REIT and utility sleeve at 3.5% yield on $120,000. That's $3,635 per month, $43,620 annually, with a blended dividend growth rate of roughly 6 to 7% per year. At that growth rate, your income doubles approximately every 11 years while your expenses at 3% inflation take 24 years to double. You are structurally ahead of inflation for the rest of your life. That is what the durability milestone actually feels like when the math is working in your favor. Most investors spend decades accumulating and arrive at retirement with a significant portfolio and no income architecture connecting it to the life they want. That's why people with genuinely meaningful net worth still feel financially anxious. They built a number. They didn't build a system. The coverage threshold tells you when you've bought yourself options. The crossover point tells you when you've bought yourself time. The durability milestone tells you when the structure will hold. All three are reachable. Almost nobody plans for all three deliberately. Now you do. If you found this valuable, like this video, it helps more people find it who actually need it. And if you want to go deeper on building a dividend portfolio that hits all three of these milestones, check out the next video. I'll see you there.